Hey everybody, what is up? It is Berlin. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, hello. I'm Berlin. I do kind of drama and tea videos over here, usually on my little channel. So if it's your first time here, hi. Hey everybody, what is up? It is Berlin. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, hello. I'm Berlin. I do kind of drama and tea videos over here, usually on my little channel. So if it's your first time here, hi, welcome. This is a very welcoming space. I'm welcoming to anyone of any gender, any sexuality, whatever you want is fine here. But we're going to get into some tea and some drama regarding Jeffree Star. Of course, my last two videos have been about Jeffree Bloody Star, but here we are again because Jeffree Star just can't keep his trap shut recently. He can't close his mouth. I have got other people that I want to talk about later as well, like Jacqueline Hill and stuff. I'm going to do a video about that. But this video, we're going to talk about Jeffree Star and also the drag community. Because if you don't know, Jeffree Star went on a podcast recently and he decided to say some kind of disparaging things about non-binary people, saying that, you know, they, them pronouns are made up. People made it up in their bedrooms on the pandemic, all of this stuff. You know, my last two videos were on this topic. So if you normally watch my channel, you will have seen it. If you don't, then, well, I'm sure you've seen it from somewhere else and you are caught up on this drama. But there's more to get into with it because Blair White came out, of course. Now, I knew that once Jeffree made these kind of comments that were pandering to the conservatives about they, them pronouns, I knew that Blair White would have something to say about it because Jeffree's comments that he made were a lot like something that Blair White would say. So I was thinking, you know, I bet Blair White's going to jump on this bandwagon. And she has now. She came out making a TikTok talking about, okay, Jeffree's not the right messenger, but the message is right.
They just started to make up more shit and more
stuff.
Yeah.
Conservative vibe to you.
Them. You're trans, you're male or you're female.
And you're standing on that.
So mad when I say that.
Mm-hmm.
How are you a they? What the f does that mean? It's stupid is what it is.
Yeah.
Now, y'all know I do not like Jeffree Star, and so while I can wish that it came from a better messenger, that does not change the fact that the message is true. They, them, Zer, it, and itself are not valid pronouns. You look like a joke. You make trans people look like a joke, and you need to cut it out. Thanks. Signed, an actual trans person who's not using it as an aesthetic online.
Following on from Blair White agreeing with Jeffree Star, there's some tweets from another trans person, another trans woman that I want to share. Peppermint from Drag Race, as you all know, shared a few tweets with her thoughts on this whole Jeffree Star pronoun situation. She said, after being quiet a couple of years, then popping up post-2020, BLM with a new black temporary boyfriend and a new makeup line promoting brown skin, some folks just can't resist the opportunity to remind us just how invested they are in aligning themselves with the conservatives. She continued, with over 300 anti-trans bills, fact, and political folks and even once respected newspapers that double down in casting doubt on the existence of trans individuals and our stories, why help those who aim to limit your community? Shaking my head. No matter how much concealer you wear or sell, your commitment to upholding racism, transphobia and internalized homophobia has been showing. I hope that you find people in the community that love you and that you love enough to want to protect from the behaviour in which you're engaging. I've got to say, I definitely really agree with Peppermint's tweets there, especially like when she brought up the fact that Jeffree had a fake black boyfriend, Andre Marhold, as I mentioned in my video yesterday, if you guys caught that one. That is, you know, true. That is something that Jeffree did. 2020, when the BLM movement really kicked off, he came out with Andre Marhold as a boyfriend, all of this, you know, pretending that he was seeing this guy, everything like that. And I do agree with exactly what Peppermint is saying about, you know, it doesn't matter how much concealer he buys or sells or makes or whatever, you know, at the end of the day, Jeffree Star is still trying to profit off a community that he is basically taking a massive dump on. And this rhetoric coming from people in our own community, people like Blair White, people like Jeffree Star, coming from them, this rhetoric is particularly harmful right now because what we're seeing is in certain states in America, drag shows are being banned. There are bills being passed banning people bringing children to drag shows or, drag brunches or pride events or anything like that where anyone's going to be in drag. It's insane. And I mean, I get it. Like, if you don't think that children should be in a bar where there's alcohol, I don't either. But, when you're talking about not taking children to Pride and things like that, to me, that's too extreme. It doesn't have to be that way. Yeah, fair enough. Don't take kids to drag shows where there's going to be alcohol and the audience is mainly adults. I get that side of things. But something like Pride or Drag Story Hour is a family-friendly event. It's for kids, designed with kids in mind that are going to it. But it's not just in America where there are all these problems going on surrounding the trans community. There's a lot going on in the UK as well. Recently in the UK, we're seeing more and more stories pop up about drag queen story hours at libraries being protested against. That was something that happened in London recently, for example. And then you've also got people like India Willoughby who are becoming targets for conservative voting people. India received a letter, a handwritten letter, posted on Twitter about it, received a handwritten letter that was threatening her life. It's got that serious now in the UK.
I can about guarantee that a lot of people are going to skip right past this video because there ain't no goddamn way that I can keep it to the 1 minute and 30 second attention span of most people. And that's fine. I don't give a fuck. Let's have a longer conversation about transgender people coming from my perspective as a white Southern man. All right? I'll give you all my goddamn opinions. And here are those opinions. All right? Here's what I hear from a lot of people. Is, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? You fucking like your kid's gonna, they're gonna identify as a cat, right? All right. First off, yeah, probably if that happens, you need to look inward and there's probably a bigger issue at hand, but that's like that's a fucking fable. That's a Aesop bullshit. That's not really happening. If it is, you fucking deal with it then, but that's not something I don't think we have to be concerned about. Here's where I stand on the situation. Number one, it's pretty clear to me that gender is something that we made up. Biological sex? Sure. I'll give you that there's a dick and a pussy. I'll give you that. That's true. When we talk about gender, these are two very different things. We all grew up with tomboys, right? We all grew up with tomboys, girls that really like to play softball and they like to hang out with dudes. Are you trying to tell me that they're the same as girls who don't do those? Like people can have variations. A lot of people call me a queer in my videos. Maybe I've just got a little bit more woman in me. I like to cook. I like to massage my wife's feet. I like to fucking, do the laundry from time to time. Maybe I'm a little bit sliding on a different scale. I don't fucking know. I'm not a goddamn biologist or a scientist. I just know that when you look at a society full of everyone is fucking unique, to label them as man or woman is kind of insane. Now that I think about it, when I was younger, I would have been like, yeah, there's two. You're either this or you're that. And it's determined by your dick or your pussy. But I don't think your dick or your pussy have shit to do with it. I think that we're all unique and there is a spectrum and that nobody should give a fuck about that. Who gives a fuck what another person decides that they want to be? Now, of course, this gets complicated, and you motherfuckers love throwing this shit at us. Like, there's an instance that's happened recently where a man was arrested for rape or something, I don't know what it is, and then decided in jail that he was a woman, and they moved her to a woman's prison. All right? That's a very, very tiny percentage of what this all entails. And frankly, you have a point in there. That's kind of fucked up. I think I'll admit that that's fucked up. If I get canceled or fucking called a dickhead for saying that's fucked up. I don't care. I'm being real here. But here's my point on that. You same motherfuckers have never given a good goddamn about how anyone was treated in prison. Don't you fucking dare start claiming that these are people. You throw these motherfuckers away. You're the same ilk that goes, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Don't all of a sudden start acting like you think that these people deserve anything other than to be the scum below your fucking feet, because you don't. It's just a good talking point to you to shit on trans people. And another point. Let's say hypothetically, trans people, it's all a facade. It's all just a bunch of people deciding that they can't make it in this world as one sex, so they're going to change their sex. Who gives a fuck about that? Let them be happy. Let them be happy. Let them be happy. I don't know where the fuck I fall on any of this, except for one thing. I don't know where the fuck I fall on any of this. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a biologist. I'm not even really a smart man, as some of you have already fucking commented. But here's what I know. Regardless of the lack of information, regardless of the lack of understanding that I have, no one is worth dying for me saying some dumb fucking shit. People are dying because you have to get your fucking crack in. People are dying because you're just, I'm just telling it like it is. People are fucking dying. People! Whether you think they're a man or a woman, or in some cases a fucking cat identifying with kitty litter, they're a fucking person, and these people are dying because you have no goddamn compassion whatsoever. You can't just leave well enough alone. Sure, in the situation of the prison, it's a little bit different. Let's deal with that. Let's isolate that and deal with that. In sports, it's a little bit different. Let's isolate that and deal with that. But if you're just making a blanket statement that these people deserve anything less than love and affection, you're not a fucking Christian, which every single one of you motherfuckers claims to be. So I'm not going to have any of you, quote, God-fearing motherfuckers say some shit about how I'm just concerned about the prisoners. You don't give a fuck. You've never given a fuck about prisoners. You don't give a fuck about them now. You just can throw your trans rhetoric on there and make a fucking point that you think rectifies all the bullshit beliefs you have. People are born different. The human body is complicated. Some people are born not being able to produce insulin. Do you not think they're a human being? Some people are born with 3 fucking arms. Do you not think they're a human being? If people are born with their organs on the fucking outside of their body, why is it so hard for you to fucking comprehend that someone could be born with a dick but identify more as a female? It makes perfect sense when you think about it like that, but you can't fucking have it. You can't fucking have it because all you want to do is sit there and swim in the sea of all these woke people are ruining the fucking country. You're ruining the fucking country. Okay? Do woke people go overboard sometimes? Fuck yeah, they do, man. Dude, I've accidentally misgendered someone before, and I didn't mean it, and I got screamed at. When realistically, I wish that they had just said, hey, that's not what they identify as. Could you try to do better? And I fucking will do better. That's made me mad before, but it's a simple annoyance. You're mad at people for annoying you. We are mad at you for fucking killing people.
The little things to add to the conversation here, like things that I think are important to mention. You've got people like Blair White, who sided with Jeffree Star and said that people who use pronouns outside of the binary are stupid. Blair White often makes a lot of content where she's talking about, people with neo-pronouns, people who use they, them pronouns as well. She makes a lot of content that's very hateful towards people like me. and anyone with dyed pink or blue hair that she deems, weird or woke. She makes content that's very hateful to this particular group of people, and she does it often. She'll make videos where she gets a lot of TikToks from people in the community, and she'll just outright rip into them, make fun of them, and it's just hatred at the end of the day. It's just bullying. In my opinion, it's bullying from Blair White. Okay, her opinion might be different to somebody like mine, but just because somebody looks different than you or wants to use different pronouns than you, can't you respect those people? Why do you have to bully those people? Can't you respect people who want to use they them pronouns? Can't you respect people, you Blair White, as a trans person? Can't you respect other people who are different than you? That to me is the thing that's really quite jarring. It's people in our own community being hateful, and it makes the community as a whole look bad because it looks like we're all fighting with each other. And for me, that's not what I want to put out into the universe. That's not how I want to be. But when you've got people like Blair White and Jeffree Star coming for our community, we have to challenge them. We have to speak up. We have to say something. Because otherwise, this kind of rhetoric from them, this hate, feeds out into the media and then into public, out into the public domain. And then you've got kids on the street being hateful to anyone who looks different or anyone who might be non-binary or trans because they heard Blair White or Jeffree Star say it. These celebrities, J.K. Rowling, all of these celebrities who have this kind of transphobic rhetoric, it's dangerous because we're now at the point where it's putting trans lives at risk. It's crazy to me that somebody like India Willoughby, who's a public figure, is receiving death threats through the post, sent to her accountant, hand-delivered letters, threatening her life because of rhetoric from people like J.K. Rowling, Blair White, even Jeffree Star making those comments on that podcast the other day. This is the result of all that. This is what happens. And to me, that's something that's terrifying. That is not something that I want to wake up and see on the news. Even Brianna Gay's vigils have been attacked. We've seen people tearing down her photo where there are flowers laid and candles and all that kind of stuff. And people are just being outright hateful and disrespectful, vandalising those places. People are vandalising LGBTQ plus charities, breaking the windows, graffitiing all on the windows, all this kind of stuff that I've been seeing going on in the news recently. So when someone with a big platform with millions of followers like Jeffree Star or like Blair White or like J.K. Rowling spouts their kind of bigoted, hateful opinions, all it does is cause infighting in our community because you get people who don't want to be transphobic and people who are accepting of trans people then coming back at people like J.K. Rowling, Blair White, Jeffree Star. All this going on is crazy and it seems like it won't ever stop. And the last thing that I want to touch on in this video is going to be about drag and children, because we're seeing drag shows get banned in certain states in America, as I said earlier, and that to me is another thing that's really shocking. Something else going on in our community where I'm like, oh my god, is that really happening? Is that really what's going on now? Is that what it's come to? Because for me, I understand the argument of, don't take children to drag shows where you could then be putting, performers in danger, because the trouble is in places like America and even in the UK now, people go in with their phones and they film, these little children or parents who've taken their children to a drag show or to a drag story hour. And then they put these videos up on the internet, on Twitter, Facebook, wherever. And then we're getting attacked, more people, oh, I hate drag queens are, P words, all of this stuff. So that, taking your children to drag shows now, as Eve 6000 from Canada's Drag Race said on Twitter, I love Eve 6000, by the way, I think she's awesome. Eve 6000 said, please don't bring your children to drag shows because we're now at the point where it's threatening the lives of trans performers. And I couldn't agree more. I would rather children stay at home and the performers are safe, you know, just as a safeguard for performers. It's horrible that that's what it's coming to, you know, and it's not about don't show drag to children, because, you know, children can go to Pride and events where they're more catered to, like drag story hours and things like this that are organised with children in mind, for children, and they can go and enjoy drag with their families. But if you're talking about going into bars and stuff like that, that's where for me it becomes a little bit difficult, because bars, there's alcohol and other stuff, you know, that's not appropriate for kids. So if you're going to take kids to a drag event, just make sure that it's like kid appropriate, you know, because to me, I wouldn't want to be out in a club and have little kids running around and stuff there with their families. You know, to me, that isn't really a safe environment for children. But also, we're now at the point where, as Eve said, it's threatening the performers, because in America, look, people can walk into venues with guns and all of this, you know, terrible stuff. And in the UK, we're seeing people protesting about drag story hours, even things that are kid friendly. So all this hatred from, you know, those people who like to say that drag queens are P words and everything else, this is what it's all led to now. And when I look at it all, I think it's really scary. So you can understand why it's so disappointing for someone like me to see Jeffree Star on a podcast saying what he said about they, them pronouns, and people being bored and making it up in their bedrooms and everything that he said. You can understand, I think, why that would anger somebody like me. At least I hope you can anyway. Okay, my loves, I'm going to stop this video right here. If you like my face today, I'm going to show you what I used. I actually used the Alexis Stone Sensorium Beauty Palette. So this one, that's what I used for my eyes today. And then the lips, I actually used an About Face lipstick. So this one is their lip paint. I don't know what it's called, what shade it's called. It's just called Lip Colour, Painted Lip Colour, and it's just their black one. So that's what I've used today, because yes, I'm trying not to use all my Jeffree Star makeup that has now sadly got to go to the bin after this week, after everything that's happened. But yeah, I used the About Face lipstick, the Sensorium palette, yeah, and then just an old eyeliner that I've got kicking around, old black eyeliner. So yeah. Oh, highlighter is Kimchi. I used this one today, the Pearl Gone Wild. Kimchi Chic Beauty, and also this blush that I've put on. I've used the Trixie Cosmetics Summer of Love blush palette, because I love pink blush. Anyway, take care, stay safe, stay well. Sorry this has been a bit of a kind of ranty one today, but take care, and I will see you guys soon on the next one, where I'll be doing a bit more kind of beauty tea and that sort of thing. Take care, love you, bye.